All right, so we're going to work on some conversions. The book calls it dimensional analysis. I really don't like that term for doing conversions using dimensional analysis, but we're going to actually do dimensional analysis. I'm going to show you how to do it. Clear? Yes? You're canceling, you're adding through multiplication and division. If I divide, how do I make 2? Well, how do I turn 2 into a 1? What do I do that to? I divide by 2. Yes? Yes? If I want to turn that 1 into a 2, what do? I multiply it by 2, yeah? Yes? So if I have 4 kilometers, how do I convert that to meters? I mean, obviously it's going to be 4,000 meters. That's easy, but how do I do it? Yeah. I multiply by 1,000. By 1,000 what? Yeah. So in other words, I'm going to use, what's a factor of 1? What does that mean, factor of 1? Factor of 1. What does that mean, a factor of 1? Yes?
Something, a number which 1 can be multiplied into.
Okay. I like that. What else? Isn't a factor of 1 where the numerator and denominator are the same? 2 over 2, 3 over 3. Isn't that a factor of 1? House over house. Right? Yes? Yes or no? They're the same. They can be equal. What does the word equivalent mean? Equivalent. Yeah, it's a little different. In other words, if I say to you, if I say 1 kilometer and 1,000 meters, yes? It's not the same number, but they're equivalent. They're not equal looking, but they're equal, but we call this equivalent. Clear? Something written in other terms is called equivalence. I like that. Something written in other terms is equivalent. Clear? So if I multiply this by 1 kilometer over 1,000 meters, is that going to convert it into meters? What would I have to multiply this by relative to this for it to happen? Is this going to work? So 1 kilometer over 1,000 meters. Is that going to work? It is? No. What do I have to do? No. I have to flip it, don't I? Don't I have to flip this? Is that 1? Doesn't it equal 1? Right? Doesn't it? Yes or no? But I can't get rid of, I get rid of the 4 by dividing it by 4. How do I get rid of kilometer? Don't I divide it by kilometer? Okay, so I've got to get rid of that, and I'm going to say, that's what you said, multiply by 1,000, right? Right? So does this still equal 1? 1, right? It's a great test of equivalence. If you flip it, what does it mean? Flip in mathematics, what does the word flipping mean? Switch. Reciprocal, right? Have you ever heard the word reciprocal? Yeah. So, well, watch this. If I divide, I can get rid of that. And I'm left with 4,000 meters. Easy? Yes or no? Yeah. All right, what about 4 squared kilometers? 4 squared kilometers. In other words, it might have been like this, 2 kilometers, a field, 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers. 2 by 2, 4 kilometers squared, right? How do I convert that to square meters? How do I convert that to square meters?
10 to the power of 6 meters.
Well, what do I divide by?
Divide by 1 kilometer squared.
Yeah. Right? Yes or no?
Yes.
What am I going to multiply by?
10 to the power of 6 meters.
Yes, you're way ahead of the curve here. How many kilometers are in a... How many meters are in a kilometer?
1,000.
Do it in terms of scientific notation.
10 to the power of
10 to the 3, right? Right? Square it.
10 to the power of 6.
So in other words, if I say a to the n raised to the m, it's a to the n times m, right?
Yeah.
Correct? Right? So that would be, what's 10 to the third squared? 10 to the third squared, what's that, 5?
10 to the 6.
10 to the sixth. Correct? Easy? We're blown through this quickly, because I know you've done it in other science classes. Yes?
Yes.
What about this? You know, I expect you to know your metric prefixes. Sorry, go home and memorize them. I don't deal well with that. Yes? You got to know them.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And you also have to know some exponent rules. That also helps. What about for I'm just using something that's easy to recognize. 27 cubic kilometers, some space, where that way is what? 3 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 3 kilometers, right? Yes? So it's like a giant box. Yes? So I want to change that to cubic meters.
Divide by kilometers.
What is it?
Divide by kilometer cubed.
I want to divide by kilometer cubed. How many meters in a kilometer?
1,000.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. But do that in exponent form.
10 to the power of 3.
10 to the power of 3, cube it.
10 to the power of 9.
10 to the ninth,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So what's that going to be? What's the answer? Put it in, is that scientific notation? No, it's base 10 notation, but it's not scientific notation. How many significant figures can be to the left of the decimal point?
1.
So what's the answer?
2.7 times 10 to the power of 10.
Well done.
Okay.
No, 10. You're right.
Yeah.
2.7 times 10 to the 10. Easy? Now, that was easy, right? That was, I mean, you're just going to meters, so it's pretty straightforward, isn't it? You could do whatever you want to do. You could do millimeters, centimeters, kilometers. You could do anything. So, but let's do this one. Let's go, instead of saying, instead of saying to meters, and we're going to do the cube. I think you can do the cube, don't you think? Yeah? Let's do millimeters. Millimeters. Okay? So we're going to convert to cubic millimeters. Is that okay? All right? Now you be quiet. She should be teaching the class. All right, you be quiet. Okay? Right? You're like way ahead of the curve. I mean no disrespect, but just, right? Just for a minute, all right? Okay. So I want to convert to cubic millimeters, and then we'll quit for the day. Okay? All right? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what am I going to divide it by? Cubic kilometers, right? Right? And I want to convert to millimeters, right? Now what the book will do is it'll say, you know, convert from kilometers to meters and then meters to millimeters. I don't think that's necessary. Do you? Really? So what we'll do is we'll convert it to right to millimeters. How many meters in a how many meters in a kilometer? 1,000. 10 to the 3, right? Okay. How many millimeters in a meter? How many millimeters in a meter?
No, 1,000.
1,000. 10 to the 3, right? So how many millimeters are there in a kilometer?
No, that's a million.
Yeah.
A million.
Yeah. So in other words, are you ready? There's 10 to the third meters in a kilometer, and I'm going to multiply it 10 to the third millimeters in a meter, and I know the rule a to the n times a to the m equals a to the m plus n. Right? Yes? So that's going to equal what?
10 to the power 6.
10 to the 6th, right? Yes? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So it'll be 10 to the 6th, correct? Yes? So it'll be 10 to the 6th, 10 to the 6th cubed. What's 10 to the 6th cubed? What's 10 to the 6th
10
cubed?
to the 18.
10 to the 18th. Whiteboards are great, right? They're great, I love them. So that's going to be 10 to the 18th. So what is the answer? Do it all at once now, mentally, do it. You're going to 10 to the 18th, but you want to move that over. So it's going to be 2.7.
19.
It's a lot, don't you think?
No millimeters.
What is it?
Millimeters, not meters.
What did I put? What did I put?
Meters.
Oh, I'm sorry, millimeters, sorry. Yes? You can get ugly, can't it? Let's do one more, and then we're going to quit, okay? All right? One more? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oftentimes, density is given in all kinds of values. For instance, density in using SI is generally going to be in kilograms per cubic meter. We don't really use that in here. We do not use those unit labels. We use grams per cubic centimeter. So let me give you the density of something. You know what? Let's not do that. Let's go the other way. Let's convert to that. Okay. So in other words, and you'll see that it's really going to be very simple, but we're going to do this. So let's say the density of aluminum is 2.70 grams per cubic centimeter, right? And I want to convert that to kilograms per cubic meter, okay? Is that all right? I can do it all in one problem. In other words, I want to do grams to kilograms first. Isn't that what I said? Kilograms? Yeah. So I want to say, what do I divide by?
1 gram.
I divide by grams, not yet 1, and I go to kilograms, right? Usually when you're doing the metric conversions like this, it's always best to take the larger one and make that a 1. It's just easier to do that. You could do it your way, not a problem. Okay? So 1 kilogram, 10 to the third. Start thinking scientific notation or base 10. Get away from that factor stuff like 1,000, 10,000, whatever, million. Okay, Karine? Okay. So that's converted that. That's done. Now, because I'm just multiplying everything, I can just simply hang another one on here, right? Because you're multiplying by 1 anyway, aren't you? So are you losing the any mathematical integrity of what you started with? No, absolutely not. So I can multiply by 1 as much as I want, correct? So I'm going to say, all right, I want to get rid of cubic centimeters and I want to go to what? Cubic meters, okay? So I want to say multiply by opposite of division, and I want to go to cubic meters. How many cubic centimeters in a cubic meter? Did you figure that out yet? Well, how many centimeters are in a meter? 10 squared, right? 10 squared, right? Cubit. What's 10 squared cubed? 10 to the 6th, right? And you'll get used to this where you don't even have to think, providing you do your homework. So what is 2.07 times 1 times 10 to the 6th? And that's going to be 2.70 times 10 to the 6th. It's going to be divided by 10 to the 3rd. Okay? So what's that equal? Let's look at another rule. All right? A to the n divided by a to the m equals a to the n minus m. Are you all right with that? Is that okay? So what is 10 to the 6th divided by 10 to the 3rd? 10 to the 3rd. 10 to the 3rd, okay? So this will be, I can rewrite this, 2.70 times 10 to the 3rd, and what unit labels are left over? What are left over? Kilograms up top. And what? Liters? Meters? No. Okay? How are we doing? You get it? I could stand up here all day and do this stuff. I have learned in 36 years of teaching, 35 years, 36 years, that the best way to learn conversions is to teach less and have the students practice more. Understood? That's a fact, Jack. Clear? So now you have some instruction. I also have older videos that go over conversions as well. Clear? So we've got a good solid 15 minutes, So let's get started on our homework. Okay?